Hello and happy Tuesday. Welcome to this episode of Mizzou Daily. Going to be talking about another new commit for the Tigers, as well as some more spring ball notes we were talking about. Big free agency day in the NFL was Monday. Everyone was getting signed, a whole bunch of different ones. Going to take a look at one former Tiger, a recent former Tiger that has got a new quarterback and could be stepping up into a larger role. Then we're going to finish up today's podcast by looking at what could be the next steps for this Tigers team. What's the next hope for Coach Drink, and how far can this team go? But first things first, we're going to talk a little bit about a brand new commit for the Tigers. It is Lual Aliyu. He is an absolute massive high school kid. 6'5", 300 pounds. He's a junior in high school. I don't know what his parents are feeding him. I don't know what the high school's feeding him. I don't know what he's eating. I don't know what he's Uber Eatsing, but to be 6'5", 300 pounds in high school, get on you, guy. He's an absolute stud, number 9 overall player in the state of Ohio, according to 247 Sports, top 35 offensive tackle. And he's actually played a bit of tackle and a bit of guard as well. I was watching some of his high school highlights. He's mostly playing the tackle position, but you can't really be surprised there. Pretty large man. No one's really getting past him, if we're being honest. Very, very strong player. Like I said, 6'5", 300 pounds. And so he's the third commit of the 2027 class. Of course, talks about a little bit about the two before him. Quarterback Braylon Warren, also got Jabari Lofton coming in as well. So it's pretty sweet stuff. The Tigers are building up this 2027 class. Currently, Mizzou has the 35th rated class in 2027 with just those 3 commits. 10th in the SEC ahead of Arkansas, Kentucky, Florida, Vandy, Auburn, and South Carolina. Definitely don't really accept them to be passing the Alabamas, Georgias, LSUs. But 3 strong commits coming in is what you like to see. Very, very strong guy coming in, it appears. And he offers to Florida, to Vandy, UNC, as well as Cincinnati. So also was taking a look at Nebraska and Louisville. So pretty strong for the Tigers to be able to bring him in. Another 3-star guy like Braylon Warren and like Jabari Lofton. Lofton and Aliyu committed within 3 days of each other. They were both in town this past weekend. And Aliyu is going to be coming through for an official visit later in the summer. He actually got to talk a little about what his kind of relationship was with offensive line coach Brandon Jones, and he said that he's been in contact with him for a little over a year, that they have a strong relationship together. He's got an official visit set for June 5th, and you got to think the Tigers probably left a pretty strong impression on him. One visit, and he's already committed, so pretty sweet stuff there, and kind of building up that 2027 class, building up the offensive line for the future. Some pretty sweet stuff there. Next thing, we're going to talk a little bit about Marquise Gracial and co. They're going to be stepping up in a big way. We're hoping to, as the Tigers really need to build a pass rush. So, last year, Mizzou's pass rush, one of the best in the country. 8th nationally, 1st in the SEC by PFF's pass rush grade. Just about 260 pressures. That was 4th most in the SEC behind Ole Miss, Texas, and Oklahoma. So most of those guys that produced those 260 pressures, they're unfortunately not with us anymore. They haven't passed, but they are going on. They're in the NFL. They have transferred. Zion Young, Chris McClellan, Sterling Webb, all headed to the NFL, and Damon Wilson, of course, transferred to Miami. Can't really blame him for doing that after the production that you saw some of the Miami defensive linemen have for him to kind of tailor his career in the NFL. Can't really blame him for leaving. But of the pressures last year, Tigers returned 60. Darius Smith, who we talked about a bunch, Langdon Kitchen as well, and of course Marquise Gracial. So the biggest question for Mizzou is kind of how can they develop these guys and what does that look like? And so there's a really sweet article today on 247 that I was able to check out and kind of look at what the growth would look like. So Zion Young in 2024, so this is not last year but the year before, he had 26 pressures, jumped to 57 in 2025. Webb had 10 in 2024, 23 in 2025. McClellan went from 18 in 2024 to 21 in 2025. He also was a much better run defender as well. Johnny Walker, going back in time a little bit, he had 30 in 2023 and 58 in 2024. Darius Robinson, who we've talked about, was one of the first-round picks for the Tigers a couple years ago, was 19 pressures in 2022, 42 in 2023. So that's Mizzou coaching staff. Coach Drinkwitz, they have the power, they have the experience, they've done it. They've basically gotten their pass rushers to improve their pass rush. That's pretty important stuff. And also stopping the run. In the SEC, you're going up against strong quarterbacks. You're going to go against the likes of Sam Leavitt, Trinidad Chambliss, whoever ends up being the quarterback for Alabama, whoever ends up being the quarterback for Georgia. You got a lot of big names that are coming through, but definitely the ones that stick out are Chambliss and Sam Leavitt currently. But that'll also change. Lenore Sellers going to be pretty sweet as well, hard to tackle. But it's really, really big for Mizzou to kind of make sure that they can build a strong work ethic and kind of get those linebackers going. Of course, Nick Rodriguez, who we've talked about a bunch, is really working on those pressures. Robert Woodyard Jr. working on those pressures as well. So Nick Rodriguez has some good quotes, just basically saying that he's trying to build his pass rushing mechanics, which is, great to see because, he's stepping up into a much bigger role as well. There's going to be a lot of different kind of opportunities for guys to get on the field. Corey Batoon was talking about. He's looking for guys to make those jumps. Batoon's been with the team for a couple years now, so he's kind of seen them grow. He definitely saw the growth of Zion Young, saw the growth of Chris McClellan, especially as a run defender. So he's got the ability to kind of make them better in those ways as well. So pretty awesome stuff, and you hope to see them grow each and every day. You hope to see them get practice better at spring ball every day, and Mizzou spring ball is actually coming to a close here pretty soon in the next week or so. Just the way Coach Drinkwitz likes to do. He likes to do it early on in the year, not like every other SEC team. He's way earlier than just about every other SEC team to spring ball, but hopefully that they can get stronger, get better on the pass rush. So hopefully it happens. Marquise Gracial, 119 snaps in 11 games in 2024, and he made a huge leap in 2025 with 257 snaps in 13 games. So playing more than double, and he was a really, really good run defender. So hopefully you get to see that continue, and I think the biggest thing for Gracial and this defense is the ability to get to the quarterback. If they can get the quarterback off his spots, off his money, then the Tigers can go at him, and going to have to play some complimentary football this year. With what the question mark at quarterback, I like to think it's Austin Simmons. He was featured in a couple posts today on the Facebook page, on the Instagram page, and on Twitter. You can tell that it's his hands getting ready to catch the ball. So his tattoos are noticeable. But going to be a complimentary football year for this year's Tigers, and definitely expecting Gracial and some of those pass rushers to really step up and make an impact. But something cool we're going to talk about right now. So as I was talking about, free agency in the NFL, bonkers on Monday. Only way to describe it, Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, they got to be working overtime. I don't know how many hours they've worked, but it's got to be a lot. Tweeting out all the free agent signings. And so one that kind of stuck out to me was, Theo Wease Jr. made a really big impact towards the end of the year with the Miami Dolphins. He's going to have a new quarterback now with Tua heading off to Atlanta. So Malik Willis is heading over from the Green Bay Packers, and he doesn't have a lot of experience in starts, but in the 3 starts he had with Green Bay, 612 yards, 3 touchdowns, also ran for 3 touchdowns. He's averaging 2 total touchdowns a game in his 3 starts. Pretty strong numbers there. And for Theo Wease, he had a very productive year at Mizzou in both in 2023 and in 2024. Finished his career with about 1,500 yards, a little more than that, to go along with 10 touchdowns. So very, very strong performances for him, as in his 2 years with the Tiger. Had 1 reception every single game he played in, so that's pretty cool stuff. He's very, very strong performances throughout the year for Theo Wease Jr. before he headed into the NFL draft, where he was picked up by the Bucs as an undrafted free agent. And with the Dolphins. He's picked up by the Dolphins. And so, got a pretty crazy stat here. You know that Theo Wease Jr. leads the NFL in average yards per reception? 23.2 yards per reception for Theo Wease. Pretty cool stuff. The Mizzou Tiger, a rookie wide receiver out of the University of Missouri, led the NFL in yards per reception last season, 23.2. Awesome numbers there. Had a 63-yard touchdown for the Dolphins against the Bucks. Got the little fixed up in my head, but awesome for Theo Wease. He saw a game action in the final 3 games of the year, and I mean the way he came on at the end of the year, you could kind of expect him to maybe a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 role for the Dolphins. I mean, coming on as an undrafted free agent, you got to prove yourself, and feel like he definitely has. Towards the end of the season, he was catching some balls from Quentin Ewers. So that's kind of his quarterback towards the end of the year. But Malik Willis likely to make an impact, a positive impact on the Dolphins, or you'd like to think so with the amount of money they're paying him. And hopefully Theo Wease can step up as well. And who knows? Maybe he'll be the yards per reception leader again in 2026 season. And wouldn't that be something? But pretty cool stats there for Theo Wease. And hope that him and Malik Willis can form a connection. And the last thing we're going to talk about is what's kind of next for this Mizzou team. Talk about the college football playoff, but then you saw Vanderbilt get left out at 10-2, and you're kind of questioning, so what is it going to take to make the college football playoff, and what's it kind of look like for Mizzou? What's it kind of look like for Coach Drinkwitz? So for Coach Drink, he's, of course, broken the record at Mizzou for most victories in the coach's first 6 seasons, 2023 SEC Coach of the Year, 46-29 record. Of course, those back-to-back 10-win seasons, highlighted by that Cotton Bowl win against Ohio State that I don't think I'll ever forget, and I don't think a lot of Mizzou fans will be forgetting anytime very soon. Recent Mizzou fans, at least, that is. So the younger crowd, and I think that for Mizzou, you just got to establish the fact that you are going to be one of those top 6 teams in the SEC. Maybe it's not a college football playoff spot, but I mean, just start stacking up the 9-3 seasons, the 10-2 seasons. Like, if you can prove yourself that. For Mizzou, it's about winning every game at home. If they can win every game at home and steal a couple away, sky's the limit, for being completely honest. You got to defend home field, and that wasn't what happened last year. They lost to A&M at home and lost to Alabama at home. I mean, 2 very, very tough games, don't get me wrong. But you like to think that the way Mizzou plays at home, they would have won one of those games. I mean, the A&M game got out of reach really quickly with Zollers playing, but the Alabama game was a game to the end. I think the next step for Mizzou is basically making sure that they are protecting this home field, this brand new Memorial Stadium like we talked about. Don't know if it's going to be Memorial Stadium, but protect the home field and steal a couple wins on the road. They got to be able to go into tough environments and win football games. They struggled to do that. It's kind of what we talked about, the year that they beat Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl was a great year. They played Georgia on the road. Wasn't a game that many would expect them to win. They were in it for a long time. Last year, going to Oklahoma, it didn't feel like that Mizzou even had a chance to win that game, even though they set the tone fantastically off the start. But it just never it felt like it was getting away for a long time. And so, got to be able to win some road games. Got to be able to set the tone. And I think that the next step for this team is a college football playoff. But getting the college football playoff is harder said than done. A 10-2 SEC team is not guaranteed a spot anymore. With the way that the whole thing is set up, and it'll remain to be seen what changes to be made. But as of this point, we saw Vanderbilt go 10-2 in the SEC and not make the college football playoff. Guaranteed. Didn't have some great non-conference wins, but it's about building that schedule. And so definitely for Mizzou is winning those first 4 games of the season. Got to be Kansas, got to be Mississippi State, got to be Florida. Set the tone. Have some good teams come in like A&M. Have a good team come in like Texas and prove to the nation that you can be a real football team. Prove to the nation what you can do, and set a strong tone for the Tigers this year. But I'm a little fired up about it. I'm excited to talk some Mizzou football all the time. But thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. We'll see you tomorrow.